Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Ranwin Parked podcast with Miko Dodger, ZK, and Kurt J. Mac. We are looking at used cars from around the world, but without the scummy used car salesman attitude. Well, maybe we do. I don't know. You tell us.
Yeah, some of them are kind of scummy.
Well, I mean, the ads are scummy, but we're not scummy, I don't think.
True.
I don't think we're trying to, like... We're not... We've probably accidentally...
Speak for yourself here.
We've probably accidentally made somebody buy something, Kurt.
I'm just trying to artificially inflate the market for the Subaru SVX. That's my scummy angle. That's all I got.
How's that been working for you?
Not great.
I think I've done pretty well on the ramp truck market. Like, I've been watching them, and I haven't seen it like fall apart since I bought mine. So, how's the Roadmaster market, ZK?
It's been solid. I'm still the cheapest one I've seen.
That's because you stole it from old people. You're a thief. You are the
I
used
took advantage
car
of
salesman.
one old couple.
You probably sold them the, I don't know, floor mat package too or something.
It's missing the front floor mats.
What is the other crap they always try to sell you there too? The
undercoating
and like a scratch guard wax coating and stuff like that.
The tire insurance.
And a package to make sure that your tires get filled with nothing but pure nitrogen for the entire duration of your car ownership. Okay, well, this is 100% why we look at vehicles online instead of in person, because in person sucks. Ranwin Parked. It's a category. It has cars in it, usually. Except for ZK, who motorcycled us on occasion.
I keep looking for the nada cars, but...
Not a car. What else could we have? Snowmobiles? Boats? Have we had a boat?
No, I think that's a different category in most of the classifieds.
Nah. We had an amphicar.
That's half a boat.
Half a boat.
Amphibicar, you mean?
I got a boat. It's a 1959 Ford Edsel Wagon that I found looking for Ranwin Parked entries. And this one, I think, is one of the most Ranwin Parked. I don't know if that's a real verb or adjective or anything, but I used it that way. This one is listed as Ford Edsel Wagon, have rims for all the tires. Note that it is currently sitting on 2 tires.
Precariously teeter-tottering upon those.
Would make a great rat rod. Engine ran before parked. Bill of sale only. $22.50.
I was going to say, like, did they get jacked or something? Like, what's going on here?
Everything about the presentation is a bit weird. As if legitimately someone pulled this out of a field and wherever this is, it's kind of a, clean, like, garage public storage
Parking
area.
lot, yeah.
And yet it's legitimately a car that looks like it's been sitting out for a very long time. And, apparently it ran when parked. Overall, it's in pretty much original shape. Like, it has most of the things. Like, it's not a car that's been picked apart for years or was in a junkyard or whatever. It's just kind of in a strange location overall. I think this is somebody...
We're used to seeing these surrounded by your, 3 feet of grass and weeds growing out, but this is...
Right, you could take care of the weeds
location.
in this with a little bit of Roundup in the concrete there. This is strange. Like, somebody had the idea of making a rat rod or whatever, and then they realized what it actually meant. And maybe they got as far as, like, pulling the wheels off and were like, man, these tires are hard to find. I give up.
Are those 4 or 5? Those are 5 lug.
What? What?
This is important
I don't know,
information.
If it had like some weird 13-inch wheels on it, I could see them trying to find some new wheels. Or maybe they took them off and put them underneath the car. I'm just very confused here.
It is kind of confusing. However, it is kind of cool. And Edsel itself is an interesting tale. And it leads me to a segue.
Ooh.
Of brands using like marks, like a car name, and trying to turn that into its own company, its own brand. And Edsel was actually an early version of that. Ford was trying to make the Edsel brand, and it kind of failed, and that didn't end up happening. Obviously,
So are you saying they're making the mistake a second time these days?
I'm saying that there might be a bit of history repeating itself there. And I was trying to think of any other cases like that, because what I'm getting to is Ford is making Mustang into a brand of cars instead of a car. And I don't know that ever goes well. And if you have any other examples of it actually going well or not, let me know. But I just...
There's Genesis?
Is Hyundai doing that? Did they consider...
Genesis is its own brand now.
Is that going well?
I don't know. It's not going bad. I don't think so.
Considering I'm a car person and I didn't even realize it was a brand, I don't feel like it's going well. When I see one, I go, hey, look at that Hyundai. Actually, I don't go, hey, look at that Hyundai at all. I go, hey, look at that generic automobile amongst all of the other generic automobiles around it.
What else is there? There's Ram.
Okay. Yeah, that's another modern-ish one, but still, everybody knows it's a Dodge. Did that help the brand at all?
Yeah. It
I don't know.
allowed to have, I don't know. Like, yeah, that's a weird thing. I think basically with Ford, they're trying to cash in on some of the Mustang like equity as a way to get... I don't know whether it's just for publicity or
ZK,
actually...
I've heard the word equity way too much recently, and I don't need it in my life. I don't need it.
I don't know whether they think calling it a Mustang is a good idea or whether it's just to make people talk about it.
Sure. Obviously, that's their plan, and we're talking about it. But if the end of the story is nobody cares about the name Mustang anymore, is that a victory? I don't think so. I mean,
I feel like
people hardly cared about the name Mustang for a
down.
long time, but now they do. Like that car brand has, that Ford has kind of like built, just the way Dodge has built themselves around the Charger and the Challenger. Ford, I feel, really built themselves around the F-150 and the Mustang, because it became popular again. You know, it became cool to be seen in a Mustang again. So I guess we just better run that stake into the ground, huh? I don't know.
I heard this thing where most people don't associate the Mustang brand with Ford. So maybe there's like some people have like negative connotation about Ford, the name, that they don't have about Mustang, the name. So maybe it makes sense in that sense.
New topic. Why are people so dumb?
Why do people buy crossovers?
I don't know. I mean, I get that more than I get that you don't think a Mustang's a Ford. But I see that. I see what you mean. Like, there's Corvette people that go, I own a Corvette. I do not own a Chevy. And then I look at it and I say, but that part's off a Cobalt, and that part's off an Impala.
Hey, they did the same thing with the Viper. They made it the SRT Viper.
Oh, they did do that for a little while, and it dissolved. The SRT brand dissolved.
Yep, it's dead.
Scion brand dissolved when that was really just a bunch of Toyotas that they were just like, we need to be hip.
The youth market.
Yeah.
Isn't Volvo doing Polestar now?
Oh, that's another one, yeah.
Yeah, they're all hybrid, I guess, but they're Polestar brand, not Volvo.
I mean, there's also there's like I don't know, because there's also a separate, I guess, subclass of those, because there's like the performance brand, like SRT,
Sure.
AMG, BMW M.
But that means something. When you bought an SRT, when SRT was new, and you bought an SRT4 Neon, it was because you weren't getting a Neon. If you buy a Mustang crossover, are you getting something different than a crossover? Because it looks like it was the same thing as a crossover.
I feel like
Mustang
Ford
taillights.
has lost their mind in the past couple of years because now there's the Edge ST.
Yeah. They're losing their mind straight into profit, which is the sad part for us.
If it's any consolation, I knew about Edsels, but I didn't know they were Fords before this. So in that case, it works.
I guess I'm done here. I'll see you guys next time.
Point made.
All right. I'm sorry for that wild tangent, but it's something that's been under my fingernails lately. There's just a little pain under my fingernails. It happens. I think that's a sign.
Checked out.
Yeah, I think that's a sign that I'm dying. Kurt.
Oh, Kurt.
What'd I do?
Oh boy.
Oh, this should not be in this category.
Yeah, you missed this one. This one, I'll move this folder for you. Hold on.
But it is ran when parked. A 77 Mazda Repu?
You got it.
Repu. Rotary pickup truck. 13B engine, 5-speed. Rare truck, needs some restoration. Engine was full bridge ported, racing intake, poly double pumper carb, but it won't stay running.
I wonder why.
Needs a carb rebuild.
I want it.
You guys would enjoy this one.
I want it.
It's very appropriately displayed on a trailer.
Oh yeah. Usually these are the signs of like, oh god, stay away. And my mind right now is just, so how do I get this? More importantly, you got to send this thing to one Mike Finnegan, who
is he looking?
If you anybody out there is a fan of Roadkill, they had one of these that had an old front wheel drive big block in the back of it, Tornado, whatever.
Yeah.
In the back of it, and it was a drag racing truck, and they bought it and had a hell of a time with the thing. It was a constant nightmare, but he fell in love with the truck. And it was famously stolen from them off of a trailer just like this at a hotel parking lot after a shoot. So they shot the whole episode, and on the way home from the shoot, the truck was stolen and was never seen again.
Interesting.
And he has been looking for another Repu. I think this one's probably more money than they were looking. Like, it's too nice because they want to cut it up and put an engine in the back. But this one's in pretty nice, savable shape.
Yeah, it's other than, not running, it's perfect.
And a little bit of fiberglass in the floorboards.
Yeah, it's fine.
I mean, it might have a 13B in it. I don't know how to identify them.
I thought these had the 12A.
But it should have a 12A, unless it's been changed over. I'm sorry to say that I can't identify them.
Racing Beat that's pretty cool. A Racing Beat air cleaner?
I mean, every modified rotary I've ever seen has some kind of Racing Beat part on it. Oh, I had pictures. But I wanted more.
I know.
I can't visually tell the difference between a 13B and a 12A.
Either way, super cool.
Yeah. And they're like double weird kind of hipster cool, because why would you put a rotary in a pickup truck?
Yeah,
it makes zero sense.
It is the absolute worst engine they could have chosen. Somebody was having a laugh.
Trucks too. Yeah,
No, yeah, I mean this truck, the Repu comes from a regular 4-cylinder truck. Like Ford made a version of this, Mazda made a version of this, all but the 4-cylinder. And then somebody was like, it would probably be a riot. And these were born.
All the revs, none of the power.
None of the torque. Don't tell the automation people that I said the word torque. But it's legitimate in this case. Like, these rotaries don't make power down low. Not that you'd be putting a lot of weight in one of these, but it couldn't be good. That's a good one.
That's a good one. It says 13B.
It does say 13B.
That's what it says. Yes.
The guy that sold me the Ram truck also said it had a 390, and
it still has a 390.
It has. The only reason it still has a 390 is because we have it checked. Visually, there's
Schrodinger's
no way to
engine.
tell. It does say... Oh, I guess we couldn't see the car. Oh, yeah, that is a big old carb on there. It's just funny to see a big 4-barrel Holly sitting on a rotary. That's just how much fuel they chew.
I mean, it is a, what? Peripheral port, they said?
I think they said it was Bridgeported.
Oh, Bridgeport. Yeah,
So, yeah,
peripheral port is the crazy one.
Yeah, but still a Bridgeport. It's not... There's like street port, Bridgeport, peripheral port, I believe is the 3 different kinds of grinds you can do on them. And this one would be somewhere in that, like, hard to tolerate range.
Yeah. Like putting a big old
about.
All right, this is going to be a 4-hour episode, Kurt. Get comfortable. So... No, I won't even go into it because it literally we would be here all day. It's just like
It's basically changing the cam.
yeah, like think of putting a big cam in a V8. It's kind of the same modification where it's going to run a lot better up high and run a lot worse down low. And the more extreme you go with it, the more power you'll make up top and the more it's going to sound crazy down low but not run worth a darn. And I want it. Please deliver it. I want it
You think
right
they'll
now.
trade the Datsun?
I hope so. Does this thing have a title? Doesn't say.
Title
clean.
says clean.
Clean. I'll take it. Have a Datsun. It runs-ish. That one stays running. It just doesn't want to accelerate. Maybe it's Bridgeported. All right, ZK, you got a lot to live up to here.
Well, I have for you the most beautiful 1978 Camaro RS that you have ever seen for $3,500.
That's I feel like you dropped the ball already here. And I can't even tell you if it's beautiful or not, just judging by what is this shot on
I have no
Umi
I don't know.
Umi
Let me
Digital
Google this real quick.
F1 dual camera. Whatever it is, this is not good advertising for this camera. It's quite poor advertising. This better be like on film.
I'm pretty sure it's just a phone.
Okay, well now we can see a little bit more of it.
It's like in perfect exterior shape.
Well, I mean, it's been repainted, obviously. I say obviously
but
because
as far
there's no
as that,
way.
like, classic 70s Camaro look. Yeah, this is some phone.
Oh, good lord. Green and red? Really?
With the worst red, worn out interior you have ever seen.
Yeah, that's used up. These pictures are
Prettiest
awful.
green- Yeah, they're pretty bad.
Shine a flashlight in here. I need to take a picture.
Oh, okay. Now it's in the mud.
But it has the perfect look of, you know, your 70s Camaro on the outside
Yeah.
with the centerline wheels.
There was a moment when these were my favorite Camaros.
I still like them.
That moment has passed.
They only want $3,500 for it.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Was running great 6 months ago when I parked it. Will fire up now, but dies not getting gas. You could start it with fluid.
Mm-hmm.
Every car-rated car on Craigslist ever.
Car is very solid. Hell of a project.
That's not positive advertising.
No, yeah. You better know what you're getting into.
I just thought this was really funny because it's... I wouldn't even call it a 20-foot car. It's like a 5-foot car up until you look inside and realize that it's basically just an ornament of a 78 Camaro.
Which is not... If you're going to make an ornament, don't make it out of 78 Camaro. Not the most desirable automobiles. For me. I'm sure there's somebody out there that's like, I love
like
me a
them.
78 Camaro. And
They
sound
look
just
real
like that.
dumb in a good way.
I'll take your word for it. I mean, it's better than the next gen. The beginning of the next gen was awful. But no, that's a no from me.
I can't please the crowd.
I mean, it's not a Mustang, so at least you won't run him over. Burn. You think the CUV Mustang is going to have that reputation? Oh, you know, it'd be funny.
Apparently, currently, it is unable to do a burnout because of the traction control. So maybe not.
It would be funny if, because it's an electric thing. It's gonna have some kind of like automated driving. It would be really funny if, like, during a demo, the thing just mowed through some people somewhere.
And only mildly injured them.
Funny, yeah. If it stubbed a few people's toes while running them over, that would be really hilarious and ironic. And I'm not morbid, you are. Mistakes. Like that joke I just made. Mistakes. Like that one that I've kind of already made in my life.
Don't you have one of these?
No, I don't. But I put a lot of time into one of them. And it is this one is a 1986 Celica Supra. And I have started to see a lot of these popping up. And the value of them with the introduction of the new Supra, it's going down. They're losing money. And I love it because I painstakingly did my first, what I'm calling, restoration. Would you say I restored that car?
I think that classifies. Yeah, it counts.
Okay. In that period of 2 years of tetanus shots and learning to weld and draining my bank account on a car that wasn't mine, I really fell in love with the Celica Supra. And in the coming months, I will probably have to say sayonara to the Celica Supra. And now I've decided I want one of my own. And this one is $1,200, and it is actually way better than the one that I started with last time. So, piece of cake.
I was going to say, can't you just, take the one that you have experience with?
I think he'd probably realize after a little while. I'm such a nerd of these cars now that I can identify this as an 86, which is the last year, and they only made them for half a year, because 86 is when the next generation started. But it has this weird tacked-on third brake light under the spoiler. And I have 2 of these spoilers in my garage with the third brake lights.
The big Supra badge is just one of my favorite touches of these cars. It
really is. Between the double spoiler on the hatch, the factory wheel arches, like the factory wide body arches, and that daggum Supra sticker on the back, I just fell in love with the things. It had a little crunch in the front, but honestly, this thing is a million times better than the one that I started with, just judging by the pictures.
With the tire no longer beaded to the wheel?
I think all 4 of them are like that. They're all... It's been there a while. I think this one probably could have also gone and ran one parked.
It has a tow hitch, Cone.
Heck yeah, it does. This thing's got 2.6 liters of inline 6 Fury. It could tow a boat, a canoe, a kayak, maybe one of those styrofoam canoes.
Watercraft.
It's pretty complete. Doesn't look like it's been messed with very much, and it's perfect.
It looks like it has a smell to it.
Oh, it has a smell to it. As does the current Supra that will never go away. But look at the Supra sticker on the back. Just look at it.
Just look at it.
It's so good. It's so good. And the weird flared out side markers. I always really liked those too.
That is a strange design element.
Just like, why? And now that I see it,
it's a little weird.
Why not? It's
and those classic Supra wheels.
Oh yeah, it's gotta have those. In fact, I was just before we recorded, I watched an episode of Skid Factory, and they have a 81 Corolla at the end of the episode. Spoilers. And it's got these wheels on it. And he's like, hey, about those MA61 wheels, pretty sick, right? And I was like, yes, they are. I'm going to leave now because I legitimately would make that mistake and I need to stop. Kurt, save me.
I'll help you. I'll help you stop making mistakes.
You are not going to make this mistake. I'm going to tell you right now.
No, I wouldn't. But this is a 57 Chevy Belair Townsman Wagon for about $8,000. Now, Kurt, as a kid, this was like my entry level into, old classic cars. I always liked the Belair, the 57.
Ring-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding.
Wing-a-ding-a-dinga, etc. But this is probably, I don't want to say the worst, but the least.
Hey, it's a wagon.
It's a wagon. It's a wagon, but it amongst it's a 4-door wagon, so it's not a Nomad. It's not a coupe or a sedan even. It's a wagon, and it has an inline 6.
And it's $8,000. It's got Pontiac wheels on it. And it's got a lot of rust.
This one's got a lot of rust.
It's got the starts of a sunroof.
Yep.
So this is the beginnings of Kurt the car guy, huh?
Potentially, yes. Not knowing much. Obviously, everybody knows the 57 Chevy. It's like the quintessential wing-a-dinga.
What would you call the color of the interior?
Mint.
Mint is good.
Mint gelato. Hey, look, the seatbelts have plastic shrouds on them so they don't burn you.
Innovative.
GM.
Look at the radiator in front of the core support. It's weird.
So much room.
It looks like it's 2 foot longer than it needs to be.
Yeah.
That's because it is.
That's because it is, yeah. Like, this was the longest engine you could get, and it's like, no, that's fine.
There's this whole extra... maybe it's just a cargo area for your luggage.
This picture right here is why this is currently selling for $8,000.
Right.
Like, this was the year, it was the front end, it was the look, it has the wing-a-dinga, and there will never be any getting around it. The price of my Supra is going to keep going down. The price of these is never going down. Even if they're a 4-door wagon.
That's an interesting discussion because, nostalgia plays into the price of cars. But people our age and younger have, zero nostalgia for these.
I disagree. There's now a secondary. It's like a secondary infection or like a genetic mutation. I am now nostalgic for these because my dad was nostalgic for these because his dad had them. That's like 3 layers of nostalgia in there. So I feel like there's still going to be, maybe not as strong, but there's still going to be a market for stuff like this because it will remind our generation of what our parents' generation liked.
Do you think this falls into the rare discussion we had where we just don't see these anymore?
I mean, you don't see them being driven anymore, no. But then if you go to a cruise-in, all you see is these. And a lot of Metamucil. And weird dolls leaning on cars.
Oh, yes, the dolls.
Dolls?
Oh, you know the dolls.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know don't you even...
I am completely serious. I'm going to Google this later and...
No, you do it right now. Just 3 words. Car show dolls.
Do I want this in my history?
Yeah, no, they're just everywhere. They're absolutely everywhere. Any cruising you go to has the dolls right next to the mirror that's under the bumper so we can see their oil pan.
Yeah, I'm just getting a lot of weeb stuff, so I don't know what you're talking about.
It must be just your internet history that's doing that. Targeted advertising and whatnot.
I've never seen a doll that fits your description at a car show.
Kurt's on board with this, and that's 2 out of 3.
Yes, I am very aware of the dolls. Who?
Tangent
So,
day.
yeah. Tangent day. I'd make that mistake if I was all out of all of other mistakes to be made.
Oh, so it's low on the mistake list.
Right, just because a nice one, as we've said, is unattainable. So this is like, if I got rid of everything else, I could attain this one, but it would not be happy days.
And there's the word.
Piece of history.
Yeah, that they're even leaning into that.
Yeah.
They know what they have. Rip that category, but it's back. Ain't found no dolls yet?
I found what I think y'all are talking about, but I can say I've never seen these before.
I see. The technical term for them is a timeout doll.
That's what this could be described as, yes. I've never seen that.
Well, I mean,
You've been to all the correct car shows, then it seems.
Yeah, I feel like you had a very different childhood than me now. This is the great divide between us. And I think maybe you went to much cooler car shows. How about this 1993 Suzuki?
I want it.
Okay, well that's the category. Yes, go on.
Are we gonna rename that to just "I want it"? It's a '93 Suzuki Alto Works RSR.
Well, that's a lot of names.
Yes, this means it is the Alto, which is the Japanese K car, little nugget hatchback thing. It's the Works, which means it
runs.
It's got the good motor in it, and it's RSR, which means it's all-wheel drive. It's got basically the same engine as the Cappuccino in it.
Face the other way, I presume.
Yeah, it's.
Which, I mean, physically, that engine's probably the same size, no matter which way you face it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's real tiny, but it's a little all-wheel drive turbo nugget.
Those are the wheels, ZK.
I know, the multi-fit wheels that are on every K car.
I feel like those are the exact wheels that were on Marty's Daihatsu.
You're probably right.
They look so similar. I mean, it could be, just another knockoff brand, but oh man, how many different patterns are in there?
What, 3 different?
I guess I see 3.
3 different 4-lug patterns?
I didn't even know there was 3 different 4-lug patterns.
Well, if you're, so I don't know, what's the word? If you're unlucky to have a Fiat 500, then those are 4x98 millimeter.
I don't think those wheels are going to fit that.
Probably.
Oh,
not.
wow. It even has Alto branded, probably original option wind guards or rain guards on the windows.
There's so many more cool little badges on this thing.
It looks like this is, maybe these are when they got it imported or freshly imported.
Yeah, it looks freshly imported because it still has paper tags and stuff.
So they freshly imported it and took it to the beach so it'd rust away immediately.
And, not even a good beach. This is probably at Galveston.
Wow. Suck it, Galveston Beach. We offer...
Yeah, I'm trying to read that out of focus.
Okay, there's another badge that has the same words on it.
Oh, okay. I was backing away from the monitor. A lot of pictures. Oh, there we go. We offer the ultimate works to those who really appreciate performance. Keep on moving, Suzuki.
And it says that on the side of the car.
Somewhere there's an engine. I'm fairly certain. It actually looks a little different than
tiny
yours.
top mount, little half-size radiator.
At least the valve cover looks different. But that'd make a fine addition to your Nugget garage. What a weird dichotomy you have there of I want a Roadmaster. and an Alto.
We've been through this. I don't like anything specific other than weird.
A true pocket rocket that's a joy to drive. I don't think we can say those words, but I did it. Original and certified with only 70,000 miles. That's actually quite a bit for a K car.
The Cappuccino has quite a bit more than that.
Really?
Yep.
I'm surprised.
What's the conversion? Hold on.
An 8-gallon tank that won't break the bank.
Well, I guess the Cappuccino has about 87,000 on it.
I mean, it is pretty old, so I guess it's gonna get there. Usually, they seem to get to like 100,000 K, and that's pretty much end of life for them.
Yeah. The Alto, like the RSRs, the all-wheel drive versions of these things, generally don't last very long either because people buy those in like the snowy areas of Japan and just drive them like all through Japan or like through the winter.
I definitely saw some signs of rust in this one. You could see like the wiper areas rusting and stuff.
Yeah. I feel like this might be a mild nightmare, but it's also worth it.
Did you just say smiled nightmare? Because that's a pretty good expression.
I did not say these words. There's no proof.
All right. You've coined that term now. That's now your term. No, yeah, even that one that Marty put together was pretty rusty that they uncovered. Yeah, that's something that that doesn't happen here. Like, if you live somewhere snowy, this is not what the American buyer was thinking. They were thinking pickup truck or SUV or Roadmaster. Small all-wheel drive car was not on their list. Just a differing way of doing things.
And as far as mistakes go, like, it doesn't take up that much room, right? It's fine.
Is that what we've gotten to? Is that where... Is that what we've devolved to?
I can stuff it somewhere.
All right, with that phrase out of the way. Mildly interesting. And boy, howdy, are we ever mild this week. This is a 1987 Mitsubishi Cordia? That's the interesting part. I don't know how to say the name. This is a great, fast, fun, rare car. Allegedly.
Does that make it mild or just interesting? I guess it is mildly interesting. I've never heard of this before.
It's interesting that that I've never heard of it before. It's mild in that I did some research. I have notes because I knew so little about this car.
Is it probably just some other car with a different body?
It is actually not. I'm making this sound a lot more interesting. This was made to fit in between the Galant and the Lancer of the day, and it was made to compete with the Nissan 200SX S12 and the E86.
This all makes sense now.
It is, however, front-wheel drive. So they competed with the 200SX and the E86 with a front-wheel drive hatchback that has the 4G62T in it for this year, which is the predecessor to the 4G63T, which Mitsubishi... That's so hard to say. They have the hardest name to say in all of automotive history.
It's not hard to say Mitsubishi
4G63T, which is made until today, basically, or until they killed the Evo. Maybe they still make that engine, but this is actually what is the first generation of the Mitsubishi Eclipse, but they didn't keep the name. And I don't know that this vehicle ever was sold here. I can't find any records of these being sold in the United States. All I find is lots of information of them in Australia, New Zealand, and a little bit in Japan. But it's left-hand drive. Yeah. So it's super interesting that I know nothing about it, but the actual car is, well, not that interesting. It's kind of...
I wonder if like Mexico or Canada maybe got it. I don't know.
Maybe. There's just not a lot of information about it. And hopefully somebody out there knows something It's a bit frumpy looking, especially in the front.
It looks like, I don't know, it looks like an AE86, but like slightly skewed in a weird way.
Yeah, it's like a copied homework version.
Yeah.
They made it for like 8 years or something like that, and it started out with a 1.3 liter overhead valve 60 horsepower engine in the 80s, and every year they would throw a new engine at it. And for the last generation here, they threw this turbo 4 in it, and you can get it in all-wheel drive. This one is not an all-wheel drive one, but it is a 5-speed turbo. You can also get them with the twin stick, so it shares parts with the Dodge stuff, like the Colt and whatnot that had the 2-stick manual transmission.
How much power did these make?
About 110.
I was going to say, like, this kind of feels a lot like the, what is it, the 323?
Yeah, I could see that.
But those are all-wheel drive. But you said this had the all-wheel drive option.
There was an all-wheel drive option, but good lord, who knows if one of those exists. This is the first one any of us have ever seen.
I really like the kind of like turbofan-esque wheels.
Yeah, I was about to say that, yeah.
I like the flat top rear wheel well as well.
You know what also has a flat top rear wheel well?
Yeah, it's got a lot of neat... Yeah, this is one of those ones that's like a Radwood winner.
Yeah.
The buyer apparently isn't that in love with it because all they want is something with a V8. So I honestly think this might be something where somebody doesn't know that they have something that I think is pretty rare.
Yeah,
Well,
they want
it does say
$2,500 for this.
Great, fast,
and...
rare car, but no, I think this is something that
Go back.
doesn't deserve.
Is that a Mighty Max to the left?
Oh Lord.
That looks a lot like a Mighty Max. Just saying.
It's probably one of those cars that didn't quite fit into history and didn't get preserved very much, and now has become kind of cool, even though maybe they weren't very cool then, because there was a lot of competitors in this field. Even from Mitsubishi, even the Starion would compete against this, right? So, I don't know.
I'm sorry, not Mighty Max. Mighty Boy.
Mighty Boy, yes, it is a Mighty Boy. We know what ZK will be finding for next week.
Yes.
That is also in my Nugget want list.
I don't know if we want to peer into your Nugget want list. I think that one's one of the most fringe, interesting, mildly interesting vehicles I've found yet. I was proud of that one.
Well done.
Thank you. Was that clapping?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know how much you liked it. So. Kurt?
I have our second Camaro of the episode. This time, a 1986 Contempo Cantara Camaro, which is apparently literally just a 86 Camaro, but with a, I don't know what you want to call it, a sort of a DeLorean style hatchback replacement.
Yep.
And this one's going for $5,000. They say one of about 50 produced.
Oh, I always trust people that are like,
yes, and
one
only
of about
one
50.
of about 10 remaining. Did you see them all? Have you confirmed this? So yeah, it's I've seen these before, or at least I've seen like examples of them before. I'm like, what is this? I always thought it was like an aftermarket thing. Or is it like a dealer option?
It's not even that. I think it's literally you could buy the hatch and the flares and whatnot. Maybe they sold it as a whole thing, but I only know in like the 240 world, you can buy hatches like this that convert it into what looks like a mid-engine 240, even though it's not. So yeah, it was in the 80s, early 90s. This hatch replacement thing was kind of common, but obviously this one's You're trying to make a cheap DeLorean, which is a bit weird because DeLoreans weren't always known for being expensive. Maybe it was a DeLorean that ran, but then it's a Chevy now. Let's get a closer look at this.
Oh, it's mildly interesting indeed, and perhaps somewhat off-putting.
A little bit off-putting, yeah.
Yeah, like the fiberglass is bare. It's like somebody's prepped it to get painted, but was like, I'm not
I feel
interested.
like this would be a lot better without like the little buttress thing.
Oh, without this? I think the buttress thing makes it. What are you talking about?
Like if it was just a plain like slant back or like a what do you call it? Like just the notch back. Like,
Well, then it would just look like a previous generation Camaro, wouldn't it?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
The front angle is not good.
It's not good. I mean, the side is almost believable. Like, if you show this to a 7-year-old that knew what a DeLorean was, they'd be like, that's a DeLorean. But,
I think those are the same wheels as on my Camaro, too. Maybe
you bought that one, huh?
No.
Sorry.
Maybe the same ones as on the ramp truck, too.
I'm sorry that I was so harsh about it. Yeah, I mean, it's that same style. I did just buy a set of basically these wheels. Oh, it's a manual. It's probably a V6.
It's a manual. Then. So there's a rare Camaro.
Those steering wheels were so bad.
I know, that looks horrific.
I guess that is technically a 3-spoke.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 little spokes and a big spoke.
Big old chonking spoke in the middle.
It's almost as if they designed it to be a single spoke, and then they're like, oh, this thing bends and twists weird. Let's put some supports in there.
I always appreciate pictures with the gauges operating. Like, oh, it's got temperature and like the battery's charged and whatnot. Like this vehicle actually ran. It has oil pressure. Oh. I guess I haven't been around these Camaros very much. I didn't remember that below that, I guess you don't notice it because there's usually a big glass hatch there. Like, there's no trunk space, but yeah, usually there's a hatch there instead of fiberglass.
Yeah, and that big pocket in the rear pretty much gets taken up completely if you have the T-tops.
Which it does.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell. Is that a 305 or is it a V6?
It looks V8-ish.
Dad, help! I think it's 305.
Maybe.
Oh, here we
Drive your own fantasy.
A Camaro like no other. Thank God. Oh, they had Firebird models too.
At your local authorized Chevy or Pontiac dealer.
Rear deck, factory hardware, factory lock, body side panels, front and rear, lower rocker extensions, lower door extensions, custom paint and trims. Oh, so they would do this setup for you, huh? Out of South Valley, California. Is that what it says? Sun Valley. It's very hard to read.
Huh.
Oh, good Lord.
You could have had a pink one.
Why does it look so much better? I hate that it looks better.
Because of the body color?
I guess.
It's not all mishmashed and sanded down.
Those wheels are kind of cool, too.
They look a lot like the DeLorean wheels.
They do. They do. Oh, the black one in the background. These look like toy cars.
They do.
I'm not sure that those are real cars.
1/18th die-cast replica.
Huh. This was their quote-unquote computer rendering of what it would look like. Well, that was mildly interesting and repulsive.
So mild, you send it back to the kitchen.
Yeah, these people are like, oh God, let's get away from that thing. This guy's a freak. What is the name too? Like Contempo Cantera. Okay.
If you say so.
What do these words mean? Oh man. ZK?
Yeah, I went very mild this week.
I need you to calm down with the mildness right now.
This is a 2008 Chevy HHR panel. As in, it doesn't have the rear windows.
Yep.
But because of this ad, I learned something.
Okay.
Just go to like the next picture or something.
You need
The
more?
The next one.
Okay.
Just keep going.
All right.
Apparently, these are not the order I expected.
Okay. All right.
The rear doors open.
You didn't realize the rear doors opened?
I had no idea. I thought it was like other panel vehicles where the rear doors were just kind of like part of the body.
This was pre-bankruptcy GM. They didn't engineer that shit.
They just didn't stamp the window hole.
Yeah.
And other than that, no
modification.
I don't even know how you
was made.
open the doors because there's no door handle.
Just the interior.
I had no
They're
idea
literally
that the rear doors
just
actually opened on the
unstamped
panel
doors.
HHRs.
Yes. Huh. Well, today you
This one's
learned.
got a light bar.
Yeah, and for some reason it has like a police/security vehicle light bar on it.
Oh, so many memories. It's my parents
got
had an
little,
HHR.
Reflectors on it. It seems like it was probably like some mall parking lot security van or something.
You watch out; they're going to put you in the back, but you actually can only escape. Huh. I can see it. I can see why you would be confused. I get it. I understand. Because it's a very, especially in white, it's hard to see like, oh, that's the door line right there.
But it looks like they just left the body there
Right.
instead of I had no idea out of all these years because like the HHR panel SS is one of those other stupid cars.
That's one of those bizarre unicorns of the world. It's a unicorn,
that I
but
really
it's
want for no good reason.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that was worth it. That was worth the entertainment alone of the rear doors. I appreciate that, ZK.
You're welcome.
All right. I'm worried about where Best Of is going to go this week, but before we get there, I have to click through 15 steps of YouTube to find last week's. I think I know who won, but I want to make sure, maybe we had a rush of voting here before we recorded. Oh, I got a little bit of last week's video. Let's see. The winner is, drumroll. Can I get a drumroll? High quality. Kurt J. Mack.
Ooh.
44%. Second place, ZK. 40%.
Ooh, is that the closest one?
That's pretty darn close. Cone, 14%.
Yeah, I was going to say there's not much left.
I've been really sucking at these lately. Maybe I need to go last or something. And I'm trying to remember. My memory isn't good. I'm trying to remember what it was.
The big
vans, right?
The big vans, yeah. You had the
buses.
Double-decker bus
Kurt
or whatever.
had the prepper bus. ZK had the double bus. And I had the tiny micro thing. Micro's tiny little car.
Oh, right. You had the little
trike. Well, I guess there you have it. They don't want tiny. They don't want huge. They want somewhere in the middle. All right. Best ads for this week. I'm going to start with ZK.
Oh, I'm going to lose this week, but this is the best ad for me because we were talking about nostalgia earlier, and this is a 93 240SX. Your average S13 coupe, but this is the classic S13 ad of missing the hood, the front bumper. It's got some 280Z wheels on it.
Which about the coolest thing on it. This is such. You're talking about classic fried front body harness because the tire rubbed through. That is a classic 240 thing.
Yes,
he cares more about slamming it than moving the wires.
This means nothing to Kurt, but this brings back so many feelings about crappy Nissans.
So here's the question: your kids in 20 years, are they going to be nostalgic for crapped out 240s because you were into crapped out 240s 20 years ago? That is the question. I don't think that is going to apply.
My kids, probably not.
I don't think that will probably happen the same way that the 57 Chevy has. However, it's not the crappy 57 Chevy. It's the nice show car 57 Chevy. So maybe it's like the fully done up, drift car 240 in 20 years will be what people are nostalgic for. Because there will be 3 left and remaining.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got the classic word in there too, ZK.
It's got everything.
And if I'm not lowballed.
It's got blue spark plug wires. He's got Z32 brakes that he'll throw in if you don't give him a crappy offer. Hoods.
It's got that stupid these don't do anything. The little damper that goes from the strut tower to the engine. That doesn't do anything. Stop doing that.
It's got the gold painted valve cover for some reason.
You know what the most surprising thing is? The factory airbox. How does it not have an AutoZone pod filter on there?
Well, I don't know, man.
It's only $1. Go get it.
I don't even know if you even really need to look at the rest of the pictures.
Oh, yeah, I forgot there was going to be more pictures. I mean, basically, this picture told me everything I needed to know.
Is that a purple coolant hose?
It is.
I've never seen that. That's unique. And it's also missing the cover to the...
Thanks.
It's missing the cover to the fuse box.
Oh, yeah.
With no hood.
Yeah, that's because they got wires piggybacked into there for an electric fan, I assume.
It still has the coolant reservoir.
No, it has a different one. Somebody put a bottle there.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Never mind.
Another factory one. Yeah, it's just the wheel well. Kurt's like, these freaking nerds. Calipers sitting in the yard. Good. Set of cheap blown out coilovers to go with it. Cool. Cool. Mm-hmm. You gotta have the Apexy knockoff dual tip exhaust system.
I need a set of those.
That's 14 seats. Vice grips for a steering wheel. I am glad I looked through the rest of them. A brown center console that somebody tried to paint black.
Some possibly attempted recovered.
Boy, I thought you were. Oh, it's
box.
It's an X automatic car. You can tell because it's got an overdrive button.
Uncracked dash.
Sure.
That we can see.
Yeah, it was very meticulously cropped there. It's a 240.
Yep, 240 coupe base model.
So sad.
Those wheels are cool though.
Oh man. It does need some work, which is minor things, like the steering wheel. But to anyone knowing what these idiots are asking nowadays, please don't send me stupid offers. One guy on here selling a hatch that won't even take you home for $3,000. This one has a vice grips for a steering wheel. Who is this taking home?
You could totally drive home on that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Take you home. Take us home, Kurt.
I will take you home.
What?
I was feeling left out. I was the only one who hasn't brought a airbrushed mini truck to the table here. So I've brought you a 2002 Sierra. That's a GMC, right? Yeah. It's a 6-speed manual. Another manual pickup truck. They're asking.
Where's the vote?
500.
Need a vote for Kurt.
And look, magic words. It's got the V8 from a Corvette.
Oh, right.
V8 Corvette.
Wait. 5.3 V8 Corvette 6-speed manual. That's some tricky wordplay. That's a 5.3 V8 that this thing came with a 6-speed manual, quote unquote, from a Corvette on it.
It wouldn't be from a Vet though, because the Vet has the transaxle.
Very valid point, but it is slammed. Maybe it's got a transaxle in it. Let's see. It's got the airbrushing of patina
and like claw marks.
Maybe he's just a fan of Wolverine or something.
And skulls.
Don't forget the skulls.
God, I have the skulls.
Skulls. And rivets for some reason. And the weird airbrush checkered
skull
flag.
Coming out the hood. What do we... Oh, it continues to the dashboard. That is a nice touch. That is a nice touch.
Very nice touch.
Hopefully I don't have to blur anything on this one, ZK.
I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Oh, that's pretty slick. I gotta say, that's pretty slick.
That's,
I wonder how they did that.
That is the nicest part of this. I mean, the airbrushing is nicely done. It's just not to my taste. But no, this setup back here.
Is that the fuel tank on the inside?
No,
On the
I think
fender there?
I think that's...
Or is that just
rounding it out to like make it look nice?
the little circle
What are we talking about? Circle.
on the fender?
This?
Yeah.
Nah. I don't know.
Those are like electric strut tailgate.
Oh, cool. They continued that straight on through, didn't they?
Yeah,
Cool,
they did.
Yes, that's a word.
I'm concerned about modifications to the airbag cover.
It's fine. I'm sure it's probably a Takata airbag anyway. It's got metal shards in it that'll kill you. You got the controller for your suspension. The 6-speed's pretty freaking cool, I gotta say.
Yeah, because this is a 1500, right?
Yeah, it's just a 1500 short bed. That's pretty cool.
Kind of.
Mm-hmm. That's a 5.3
day gauges.
Yep, that's the stock engine.
Oh man, they really went all in on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a stock engine. Yeah, I don't think they pulled that trans out of a Corvette. I don't think, but I don't know. Could be. Seeing as how
Got
it still
your
has 6 lug
22s
wheels,
on
I'm gonna
it?
say no. Pretty nicely done truck. Just not to taste.
Yes.
Nicest part is definitely the bed treatment. That's really cool.
Really, like, throw a wrap on this thing or something, right?
Mm-hmm. And
But then the interior still.
I mean, there's 400,000 of these in a junkyard, so I'm sure you could find a new interior to put in it.
Yeah.
How much money?
Other than the paint, everything else.
Never mind. I'm out. But it has eye-popping zombie features.
Zombie
skulls,
and
not
checkered flag features.
That is
Racing
true.
I didn't
zombies.
see a single zombie.
No, this is a dealership, I bet. Something like that. So this is not the owner of the truck, I don't believe. Maybe it is, but it seems very like, we have this thing and we say it's cool because we found it, and now we're charging twice as much for it.
What can we tell about the person who listed this for capitalizing every single word?
Well, they're using their phone, and they're older because they called this GMC Sierra 1500 a C10.
And they're asking you to call a landline.
Nobody of our age would call that a C10, and yeah, nobody would say call a landline. Interesting. Kurt's treading on ZK's turf over here. Kurt's pandering for votes from ZK.
I'm diversifying.
You know what I'll do? I'll pander my votes to Rat the Unloved. This is a rare C-Cab Barry Mini T, based on a 1967 VW Bug Pan, a killer 70s custom barn find in storage since 2003, and it has 2003 Virginia State inspection on it somehow, which really tells me that Virginia should be high up on my list of places to move, because obviously their inspections are very easy.
A little bit lax.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was 16 years ago.
True. Just, I mean, what a thing.
It's a thing.
Technically a panel van?
I guess. I'm sorry, ZK. The rear doors do not open. The back ones probably do. Padded leather interior in there as well.
Right above the fuel tank.
Yep. It's got the snap-in windows for the side.
That's kind of cool.
It's...
Even though you can't see out of them at all.
Yeah, they're like a frosted.
It's got Jetson nifty 50s on it. That's
They sure are nifty.
$6,500 is a lot of money. But I want
Yeah.
this thing just to sit in my yard, just so people that drive by go, oh, he's one
That
of
guy.
those people. And I would be okay with it.
Well, like, if you could get this running decent, it would be like a good golf cart type thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's a bug, like it's a super beetle, I guess, underneath it, or just a regular beetle underneath of it. So you could, in theory, drive this thing around and look like the person who drives this around, and I want to do it. Why do you think it's called the Tycoon?
I was just about to ask you that. I have no idea. Is that like a old branding thing? Is that just some name someone came up with?
It's got these T's on the back.
It's got the cool T.
It's got the cool T, predecessor to the cool S. I don't know what the Tycoon is, and I guess all we can do is hope that it's not something that I'll eventually have to blur out. It must have some kind of different rear axle in it too, because I see the back is 5 lug and the front is 4.
Huh.
Probably to fit whatever wheels those are on it. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
But is it the best thing of the best of this week? I don't know. That one, last week we had a nice cohesive theme there. Not so much this week. Not so much.
You didn't bring your secret themes to the show that we accidentally all matched.
Well, let's not use the word all.
True, yes, that I accidentally matched.
I take offense.
ZK doesn't know. Are those skis? Are these actual skis on front? All right. Well, I think we're about 15 tangents too deep into this show, so I think that will do it for this week. I do hope you enjoyed Ranwood Park. Make sure you vote on the exclamation point on the YouTube video if you're watching on YouTube. Who had the best ad this week? And what?
What?
Who? Huh?
He said vote for me.
What? And we will see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.